From RareGem Productions, this is Let's Get It Together. Class is back in session. It's the Money Classroom. From basics to building wealth, budgeting to a blessed legacy. It's all right here. Access, information, and opportunity. In the classroom. Grab a notepad. Today we learn about our money health meter and what to do to get in shape.
Live on less than they make. And now there may be some times where it may get off just a little bit, but that cannot be the way of life. That cannot be something that we do on a regular basis, because ultimately that will lead us to a path of bankruptcy, financial ruin, things that we don't really want to see.
Like living with hypertension or...
Hypertension, what they call that, the silent killer.
Yes.
If we don't take care of our financial health, that can be a silent killer that ultimately has a very loud alarm when we are not handling our finances very well.
All this and more, so let's get it together. We'll be right back. I'm Jade Harrell. Register today for the 2014 MoCan Minority Business Symposium, Bridging Rhetoric to Reality, on Thursday, May 8th and Friday, May 9th. This symposium will provide business development and partnership opportunities for small and large businesses. We will hold this event at the Union Station Hotel in downtown St. Louis. Visit mocansymposium.com for sponsorship, registration, and event information, or call 314-454-9675, 314-454-WORK. RareGem Productions proudly presenting The Positive. Get ready for an all-new program coming to 4 p.m. The St. Louis Community Credit Union presents The Community, a forum for information and resources relevant to empowering our community. Consumer financial education, budgeting, credit, payday lending, community events and initiatives, health and human services, life skills. What's important to you?
Education and empowerment are huge for us.
The Community, another positive production of RareGem Productions. Welcome to the community. Now here's Make It Happen with Keith Sales Pro.
According to Peter Handel, the CEO of Dale Carnegie Training Institute, here are 5 essential rules for great presentations. Number 1, be yourself. If you pose as somebody you're not, your audience will know you're insecure and therefore disbelieve whatever you're saying. 2, tell stories. The purpose of a presentation is not to convey information. You can do that with a data sheet. The purpose of a presentation is to show how the information has meaning for what you're doing. Number 3, practice. The very best public speakers make it seem as though the ideals are so new and original that the speaker is slightly surprised at what he or she is saying. 4, socialize. Audiences consist of individuals. Always arrive early and try to get to know some of the individuals in your audience that you're speaking to. And number 5, brevity. For every presentation that wrapped up too early, there are 1,000 that have gone on way too long. Today, remember, it can happen. It will happen. And together, we will make it happen.
Follow Keith Sales Pro on Facebook or Twitter at Keith Sales Pro, or visit his website at keithsalespro.com.
It can happen. It will happen. And together, we will make it happen.
Let's get it together.
Come on in, everyone, and take your seats, please.
This is the classroom, where we get a front row seat to expert instruction, information, and access. You won't leave the way you came. This classroom is all about knowledge, and knowledge is power, and the power is yours. Now, let's get it together. In the classroom today is Royce Sutton, Vice President and Community Development Manager with Fifth Third Bank. Just like our physical health, there are indicators and levels of where we are, what we need to do, and what we need to fix when signs and symptoms arise when we're not in good financial health.
Well, Jade, I'm glad to be here today. It's good to see you. Always a pleasure to come and talk to all these good folk who want to learn more about money. They want to learn more about their future. They want to learn more about what it means to begin to develop a level of prosperity about themselves. And when we think about how we can begin to develop good, strong money management, money habits, there's some things that we need to know. And I guess I'm reminded, I went to the doctor a couple of months ago and I had a physical, and then he took me through a battery of tests to gauge where I was in relative to my health. They take my blood pressure, and of course you got the upper number and lower number. I've never really quite figured out what all that means, but they just tell me the range that is good. If that top number, if it's below 120, pretty good, and the bottom number, if it's below 80, you're in good shape. As well, looking at cholesterol, if it's below it's below 200, they say that that's a good number, good place to be. Right. And when you look at your blood sugar, somewhere your glucose ought to be somewhere in the neighborhood of between 70 and 100. So all these things that we monitor, our weight, and all, we want to make sure that we are in a good place with our physical health, so that we can ultimately feel like we can do all the things we want to do. We've got the level of energy that we need, because if we don't have those good health numbers, we do feel things a little bit differently. But as well, Jade, we've got some financial or some money health numbers, just like those physical health numbers, that give us an indication of where we are, give us an indication of what we need to do, what we need to fix, because there are some signs. There are some symptoms that do begin to rise. Now, do we know what those signs and symptoms are when we are not in good money health? So, one of the things that we always want to emphasize is that we want everyone that's listening here, we want them to live on less than they make.
Oh, sure.
Live on less than they make. Sounds very basic, but it is not always easy for us to do that. And when we sit down and look at how much we've got coming into our household and what we've got going out, and now there may be some times where it may get off just a little bit, where we've got more going out than what's going in, but that cannot be the way of life. That cannot be something that we do on a regular basis, because ultimately that will lead us to a path of bankruptcy, financial ruin, things that we don't really want to see.
It's like living with hypertension or any of the other conditions, or diabetes.
And of course, hypertension, what they call that, the silent killer.
Yes.
If we don't take care of our financial health, that can be a silent killer that ultimately has a very loud alarm when we are not handling our finances very well. So when you look at, for example, like your house payment, how much should I think about as far as what that makes up as a part of my income? How much should I think about of what I can afford on a house payment? And recommended that your house payment should not exceed 28% of your gross income. So that's your overall, the amount that you take in. Of course, when you talk about gross income, that is the total amount that you make. You don't take all of that home, because Uncle Sam gets a portion of that. So I really like to deal with people in their real dollars, the things that they bring home to the house. So you got to kind of factor that in as a part of how you begin. If you were making $50,000 a year, if that was your income, you would not want your mortgage to exceed $1,166 per month, $1,166 a month. You wouldn't want to get beyond that. So if you can kind of take your income, think about what you make, you can get an idea. Now, how much should my total debt be?
Oh, boy.
This is another measuring meter. My total debt should not exceed 36%. Should not exceed 36% of my total gross income. When we talk about total debt, I'm talking about credit cards. I'm talking about your loans and all your obligations that you've got going out there.
And when you say all your obligations, that doesn't necessarily mean your bills, your day-to-day expenses.
It would include your bills as well. We don't want that to exceed 36% of your income. Now, some people tell you, you can do more, but I generally like to keep people in a situation where they can feel some degree of comfort. Now, that means some adjustments. That may mean some things that you maybe want to purchase. So how much does that total? If I were making $50,000 in income per month, per year.
Now,
that would be good per month. Well, $50,000 per year, that would mean I would not want my total debts to exceed $1,500 per month.
My groceries plus my utilities plus my car note and all that should not go over 1,000.
And if we put this maybe in the terms that we have talked about in the past, that the whole concept of the 50, 30, 20, 50% to my needs, 30% to my wants, and 20% to combination of savings and giving. You can split that, 10 and 10 with that 20 there, but 50% to my needs, 30% to my wants. So when I think about my needs and beginning to make that work for me, it begins to put me in a situation where I can begin to dream, I can begin to develop ideas, I can begin to do things that maybe I hadn't imagined if I can get those numbers right, if I can get that
your
gauge.
Numbers under control, as the doctor would say.
Yeah, get those numbers under control so you don't have to keep coming back for appointment after appointment and getting more tests run. The other thing, too, is when I think about my emergency savings, that's another gauge of how I am doing on the money meter. And I want to put some money away for potential things that may break, things that may occur that I hadn't anticipated. That's what emergency savings is for. Mm-hmm. And you want to think about 3 months of your living expenses in a high yield money market account that you can put away, something that you're not going to readily begin to dip into. Now, some people say, okay, 3 months worth of living expenses, that is a lot of money to put away. Yes, it is. You got to build. It's a developing process. So as I have told you time again, start with just putting $100 away. Just put $100 away. You absolutely can do this. You can do it, but you have to be committed to making this happen. And then you build up to $500, then $1,000, and then you will find yourself slowly beginning to love this savings thing, loving putting away this money. And you'll also see troubles and emergencies and things breaking. Those things are going to happen less often. But when they do happen, you'll be well prepared. Now, what they also recommend, if you have children, you want to begin to build that up to about 6 months. Now, I am not there myself. I would love to be there. But 6 months worth of my expenses put away in an emergency savings account because, with kids, there's always something going on.
It is. And they tear up everything. At least
let's not go there. Let's not go there.
Oh, gosh.
Now, also, when I talk about my money, another way in which I measure it, let's say I have gotten to the point where I'm beginning to invest and put some money away in some investment account. I've got my savings put away now. Now I'm investing, and I do not want to put 10%, more than 10% in any one stock. If I'm beginning to do that, then I am not taking advantage of diversification, and that is taking what I get and spread it around.
Not putting all
in
our
a way.
Eggs in one basket.
There you go. That's exactly, our grandmothers told us that. Right. You just cannot do that because you put yourself at risk. Now, most people wonder, well, how much of a percentage should I put towards stock? Now, if I am retiring, and I'm thinking about a retirement fund, if I take my age and then subtract that from 100 and the number 110, that gives me an idea basically about what people are going to recommend to you about the amount that you should have in equities or stocks. Yes, that's the amount that they'll give you. So you need a good balance between stocks, bonds, and what have you, so that you and cash, so that you're not placing yourself at too much risk in any one area. So take your age, subtract it from 110, and that gives you the amount that you can have in stock. Now, insurance. Cool. Insurance. Here's another gauge. We definitely have to prepare for eventualities that may occur. You need auto insurance. You need health insurance, but you also need some good life insurance out there. And the recommended number for that is that I need enough to replace my income for a period of 5 years.
Enough insurance
to replace
my income for at least 5 years.
And if you've got kids, you need to think about enough to replace your income for a period of 10 years.
Oh, my.
Now, you may get to a point where maybe that you no longer have debt, you no longer have kids at home. Your need for insurance may then begin to diminish greatly, and you're probably just only thinking about what it will take for burial expenses and so forth. But that gives you an idea on insurance in terms of what you need to do on that end. But as far as our credit score, let's look at that gauge. Now, a good
check my pulse on credit score.
The average credit score is between what's considered average is between 620 and 679. A good credit score would be 680 through 719. An excellent credit would be 720 and above. Now, if you are where you're in kind of that average category and do you want to begin to work your way up? There's a number of things that we've talked about here on this show steps that they can take to begin to build your credit in a stronger way. Sit down with your banking partners, good financial advisors that can help you with all these things that I've mentioned to you, whether you're talking about insurance, whether you're talking about your credit score, whether you're talking about how to purchase your first home, beginning to realign your debt, thinking about how you can develop your savings plans or ways that there's good bankers out there that will help you to do that. But the key thing that we say is live within your means.
Live within your means.
Have a plan of action that you want to take and begin it today.
Just start.
And when you do this,
you
will make things better for yourself.
That's right.
Your family and your future.
And our future. Because if there's a tomorrow, there's a future.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm also reminded, as we really think about this, there is a passage in Proverbs 4:20, and it says, "My son, attend to my words, incline thy ear unto my sayings. Let them not depart from thine eyes, and keep them in the midst of thy heart, for they are life unto those that find them, and health unto all their flesh. Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life." Now, in that passage there, it talks about your ears, your eyes, your heart, and all these important things that take in information that help us to make good solid decisions, but we have to be able to do that in a way where we are building our hearts towards something that is prosperous, building our hearts towards something that is beautiful, something that is an investment back into the future. And the only way that we can do that, we've got to have these things, our receptors open. So if we have cut off our ears, we've cut out our eyes, and we've hardened our heart to good, solid information, then we will not find ourselves in a place where we're prospering.
You said so.
For more information regarding our discussion today, you can contact the Fifth Third Bank Financial Empowerment Hotline.
And if you'd like us to cover a topic on this program, you can share that as well. Many times, your question could bring forth an answer that helps all of us. Learn more at 53.com. That's 53.com. And call the Financial Empowerment Hotline at 314-889-3333. That's 314-889-3333.
Let's Get It Together is made possible by the grace, mercy, and provision of our God. Each day, try Him, trust Him, and learn more in the BIBLE each day. Make Let's Get It Together your access to information, education, and opportunity. Subscribe to the podcast. Find information about our guests. News, notes, and video are ready for you at LGI2.com. That's LGI2.com.
This week, get a fresh new outlook. Let's get it together. Be inspired, informed, encouraged, and entertained. Let's get it together in the classroom. Information, access, and opportunity. Let's get it together.
Special thanks to the RareGem family, Harold, Clear Channel Radio, and Christopher Harrell. From RareGem Productions, this is Let's Get It Together. Register today for the 2014 MoCan Minority Business Symposium, Bridging Rhetoric to Reality, on Thursday, May 8th and Friday, May 9th. This symposium will provide business development and partnership opportunities for small and large businesses. We will hold this event at the Union Station Hotel in downtown St. Louis. Visit MoCanSymposium.com for sponsorship, registration, and event information, or call 314-454-9675. 314-454-WORK. RareGem Productions proudly presenting The Positive.